Hello. Today we're going to talk about something I always wanted to talk about. Not really, but we're going to talk about fantasy movies. First up is a weird movie, Krull. Now, this film takes place in outer space, in this weird planet, but it's still fantasy. We have supernatural powers, we got magic, we got weird weapons, we got a main character who's supposed to save this princess, and the main villains happen to be aliens. So it's very, very weird. It does have cool elements, but not good enough to lift the movie to a higher level. It has a crystal spider as weird enemies. It has this gigantic mountain that is teleporting from place to place, and a main villain who lives in that mountain. So it's a cool premise and a really good setup for a Dungeons and Dragons adventure, but the film itself isn't that powerful. Oh yeah, Liam Neeson is in this movie, in what I believe is one of his first roles. Sword and Sorcerer! Sounds like an epic, cool saga. We got evil emperors, we got people with swords, a guy who has a three-bladed sword that can shoot the blades out of the actual sword like a gun. That is fucking badass. Too bad that the movie's directed by Albert Pune, the guy behind Captain America from the 1990s and the god-awful Nemesis, that for some reason seems to have a fan base. I don't get why. Every fucking movie I've seen by this guy is horrible. Therefore, I have banned him forever from my movie collection. But for some reason I accidentally bought this sucker before I saw it was Albert Pune who had directed this piece of trash. The movie is boring, there's no characters, there's nothing that drives films, there's no adventure going on, there's nothing that makes you understand what the plot is all about. In the end of the day, you just watch what is going on and sort of half-assed enjoy it, because some of the visual effects are pretty cool and the design of the movie is pretty badass, but it just doesn't sell the film, because in the end of the day, you wonder what the hell you were actually watching, and you sort of just forget everything about it. Because I can't even remember what this story was all about. It was just a painfully boring film, and I regret having to buy this piece of trash. David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly. I think you already know what movie I'm talking about. I'm talking about Labyrinth by Jim Henson. This movie is fucking good. I love this film so much. I haven't had the chance to watch The Dark Crystal yet, but this one is prime. The music is great, the atmosphere is fantastic, some of the action scenes make me laugh my ass off because it's so funny. To watch these adorable puppets interact with people in a musical wonderland that it looks great on Blu-ray, the entire film looks fantastic. You're having a good time watching it. I genuinely thought this was a heartwarming, great adventure. I enjoyed it from the start till the finish. The story is really simple, but that's the way I like it. And it feels like an RPG video game. It's about this girl, played by Jennifer Connelly, who hates her newborn brother. And she condemns the brother. All of a sudden, David Bowie pops up and kidnaps the brother, and now she must go to David Bowie's home country in form of this gigantic labyrinth and find the brother and return him back and snatch him from David Bowie's evil hands. It's great. I don't know what else to say to you guys. I just think it's great. Time for a Sue Hark film, and Sue Warriors. This film is weird. Yet again, as an RPG video game. It's too weird to even explain. But what we have is this legend about a mountain. What is it with fantasy movies and mountains? And there is this demonic presence in the mountain that they have to slay. So there's two people, I believe, with a sword, but the sword gets shattered, and then the people have to use their powers to regain themselves, find themselves again, and put together the swords again to be able to fight this gigantic gooey mess inside the mountain. I don't know what to tell you guys, because it's so bizarre. I think it's a crossover between an RPG video game like Final Fantasy or something like that, a crossover with Soul Calibur, because that's the experience that I get from it. I really enjoy it. I have no idea what's going on, but I like visually what I get to see, and it's a fast-paced and weird movie with a lot of things going on in it. I'm not sure if I enjoyed it the second time watching. I got no clue, but I'm kind of curious in watching it again, because it was a weird experience the first time, and I'm pretty sure it'll be a weird experience the second time as well. Oh man, I haven't seen this one for ages, but I was laughing my ass off by the look and the bad acting. Everything is horrible in this film, but so bad it's actually good. Dungeons and Dragons. We have this total bizarre overacting atmosphere by Jeremy Irons, who's shitting on everything by his overperformance. It's so overdramatic and taking so much space that you wonder if his ego should be plastered all over the movie like a gigantic blob. I don't know what the last thing I just said meant, but that's the way I feel watching this movie. The CGI is horrendous. We also have these dragons, and I don't know anything about this movie. I don't remember much about this movie. But ever since I started to play Dungeons and Dragons for real, I started to wonder if it's actually not a bad experience. It may actually be quite entertaining to play the game. And it was during this time that weird movies started to come out, you know, it was the early 2000s or something. So things was sort of experimental, but not in the good kind of way. I mean, I don't know what's up with this movie, but I kind of like the shit that I get to see. So I may be able to pop it in again, I don't know, give it a second try, but it was a weird movie the first time I saw it. Very strange. This does technically count as a fantasy film. I'm talking about He-Man. Master of the Universe, directed by the guys behind Canon Films, or produced by the guys behind Canon Films. It takes place in modern time, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Most of the movie takes place in our modern times, with a pink Cadillac and hip-hop music. And we've got Skeletor flying around on this car ship thing. I don't quite get it, I don't quite remember the movie, but I do remember that it had some decent fights, some good hype before the fights came up, like, I'm gonna slay Skeletor, and stuff like that that really was pretty cool. It's just that the film doesn't really know what it wanna be, and that is a part of the charm. I don't think the movie sucks, I don't think it's horrible, I don't think it's the best movie of all time either. It's somewhere in between, and sometimes Canon can be the most unintentionally funny movies when it comes down to not knowing what the hell they're doing. So He-Man Master of the Universe is one strange film, but I do like the Hammy acting. I think that Frank Langella as Skeletor was pretty goddamn cool, even though his makeup looks weird. And I think Dolph Lundgren nailed the role of He-Man. And yeah, I had a good time watching it, but it's not a good movie. One final film. The Never-Ending Story. The Never-Ending Story is such a powerful movie. The first time I saw it, I thought it was one of the best movies I've ever seen, and that was just a couple of years ago. Now, obviously, on a second watch, it's not as good, but it's a pretty goddamn good movie. We have strange characters, a gigantic rock-like mountain of a monster who's very kind and very sad as a character. We have beautiful princesses who needs our help. We have gigantic, beautiful structures, wonderful lands and countries to visit, and this gigantic flying, dog-like creature that the main character flies around on. I think this film is just stunning and amazing, and I believe a lot of people should check it out. There's one thing I don't really like, is the main villain, who's in the shape of this gigantic wolf. I didn't quite like him, I just thought it was sort of spooky, but not threatening enough for this gigantic movie to build up. It feels sort of like a focus on the good stuff, the good characters and all that stuff, and not that much on the main villain, the main threat. I still enjoy the film though, I think it's a good entertaining film, and I think you guys would too. So, in conclusion, what do I think about these fantasy films? I think fantasy is a good entertaining genre, and I had a good time making this video, and this isn't awkward at all. This is totally normal, by the way, not I don't know how to edit this video.